mean, you know, when you're coming up in a family, right?
Yeah.
There should be at least a baseline of health,
Yes.
right? And just healthy,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
just conversation, right?
Mhm.
And
I literally just jumped up out the bed after watching the Neil Long and Jeezy interview. And honestly, I didn't even watch the whole interview. I barely got through the beginning. I think I did maybe the first 8 minutes of the video before I was like, oh my God, this is it right here. This is exactly why I've written the books that I did, Prison Marriage Boot Camp for Him and Her, specifically for this reason. So just in case you don't know who I am the Coach D, prison marriage coach, prison wife survivor of 14 and a half years. My husband served 14 and a half years in prison. So back to Prison Marriage Boot Camp for Him and Her. So here's books. Oops, yeah. One for him, one for her. Okay. So I literally started writing these books when my husband was in prison. So I did not finish until he came home, because the ladies that I was coaching, I asked them, did they just want to hear it from me or did they want to hear from him too? And they wanted to hear from him too. So, we sat up and I just recorded him talking, and, I've added his parts in book 2. So as a prison wife, believe it or not, as I've said in past posts, because some people don't understand, why people wait, but that's not the topic of this video. But anyway, prison wives, if you are a prison wife, you matter and you're important. You play a very important role. You play an important role as to how your loved one is going to re-enter in society, and if they can survive out here after being in prison for whatever time they did, and how they get, reacclimated. A lot of that is dependent upon you, and statistics have shown this, that family members that are released from prison and come home to a stable family, like Jeezy said in the video, that has a baseline of communication, then the chances of them going back to prison, they decrease, they diminish. So you are important. And now is the time for you to have those conversations while you have the time apart, because even when they come home, it's a whole different set of rules. What you expected in there is going to be different. You might have the bar way up here while they're in there, but you don't know the condition they're coming home in, so you shouldn't have the bar all up there. But those are just things that are mentioned in the book, because sometimes they are set up for failure a lot of times when they're let out the gate. So again, now is the time to learn and talk about the past. Now, these books, no, it's not therapy. But what it is topics of discussion that gets you talking to your loved ones so that you can open up. You know your trigger points. You understand that each one of you is a product of your environment, be it your environment is good or bad. It talks about that. What was my relationship like with my parents? What was my relationship like with God? Was God even included in my life? What are my goals? How do I see parenting? And with each section of the book, you're able to ask certain questions. You're able to talk about your triggers. You're able to talk about your boundaries. You're able to talk about your expectations. And this is a book, like I said, that generated conversation. I wouldn't sit down here and just fly through the book and complete it in one day. That ain't what it's about. It's about go section by section and talk in detail with your loved one about their experiences, because we all have some type of trauma that we've dealt with, And some people's traumas are bigger than others people. Some of you may judge it like, really, that's nothing. But to them, and that's that person's trauma. You know, it was not too long ago that I did a video because somebody called, said basically when their loved one came home, it was a bunch of BS. But what I'm telling you is the bullshit is trauma, a trauma response. It's that person acting out, you know. So don't always just look at stuff as BS. What's beneath the BS? So I just had to get on here. Yes, it's 3:40 in the morning. I jumped up out the bed because this really hit home. This really resonated. I gotta finish watching the video, so I'll probably be back. But that's just how serious it is for me. Because I truly believe there are a lot of good people in prison in the world, but we don't know how to deal with our issues. You know, so a lot of times the traumatized become demonized in society once they become adults. That's not to excuse behavior. You know, you must be aware. And that's the purpose of this book, to bring awareness, you know, for you to self-reflect. Your loved one on the inside can self-reflect. You on the outside can self-reflect. And then you talk about it together so you can work through these issues so that their transition home can be a little more smooth. The foundation can be laid because you're going to have things to deal with when they come home. Re-entry never ends. You don't forget prison. You don't forget that you waited. So when you come home, now you got to deal with that plus life. You know, while they're in there, they forget how life was because they kind of shut out from it. But when they get out here, it's going to hit them dead smack in the face. So now they got to deal with undealt with trauma, you know, re-entering marriage or relationship, family. It's just so much. So take advantage of the time now because you're not going to get this time back. You know, even just being on your own, your day is hectic. So when your loved one comes home, you know, you're not going to get the amount of little time you have for yourself now. You're not going to get that because some of that's going to be taken away because you have to give to them. Y'all have to learn to adjust to each other again. So again, those books are, and I held them up backwards the last time. Let's see. Prison Marriage Boot Camp for him. Prison Marriage Boot Camp for her. You can check it out at the TikTok shop. And like I said, there are questions in here. 2024 is right around the corner. There's a section in here for you to do your vision board, your vision, you know, your individual relationship with God, self-care, couple relationship with God, role of a husband, role of a wife, communication, just things that we just kind of brush across. You know, you need to know what you're getting into if you haven't got married yet. What is marriage? You know, what is a marriage without God when God created marriage? These are the types of things that this book is talking about. And it's going to be another one because, you know, as my husband has been home almost 5 years, there are other things that we've gone through. So I was going to say he don't know, but he know me. You know, I've been here to help and share our story along the way to help others that are in this situation. So if you ain't in this situation and you don't get it, that's fine. Just keep scrolling. But maybe you're not in the position and it has given you a different perspective because guess what? At the end of the day, majority of people are coming home from prison. So you want them to come home with the right mindset. And this is just the beginning. These books are just to lay that foundation. There's more work to do when they get home because the work is not being done in the prison system to the degree it should be. All right. So again, the Coach D, Prison Marriage Coach. Y'all stay strong, beautiful, unbothered ladies, and check out my books at the TikTok shop. and free training coming up at my link in the bio. So get on.